What's going on, guys? You ready to fuck some shit up? We're gonna talk about fucking video games this week. It's gonna be a good time. Of course, I'm gonna have shit. Hold on. We're gonna talk about fucking video games. I'm gonna have Bobbit, Drew, and Heather with me tonight. We're just gonna sit here and talk and shoot some shit before Foulmouth Ken comes on. Let's have some fun and let's enjoy the show. Alright. Alright, guys. So let's have some fun tonight. There you see Bobbit with that goofy looking fucking hat on, but whatever that is. We might talk about that a little bit too. I've always tried figuring out what the fuck that thing was, but I don't know what it is. And then you see my lovely girlfriend Heather sitting right across from me. And then we have Drew in here. He needed to take a break from some situations, I guess you could say. So we are going to have some fun tonight. I hope you enjoy the show. Let me bring up my Streamlabs donation ticker. Let me get rid of the thing behind me here. Where did it go? Boom. I'll bring you guys back up in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Let me see, what else do I need to bring up? Oh, and then the last thing is the alert box. I do not want to fucking forget that thing. Alright, now we should be good. Alright, so we're going to talk about video games. I know a lot about video games. I've been playing video games since I was 7 years old. In fact, I remember the first game console that I had. It was Pong. The very first game console, nonetheless.
JP,
Yes.
you you're wrong about that. The first ever video game console was Magnavox Odyssey. It was a brown box prototype created by Ralph Baer.
Are you sure about that?
100% positive.
I can swear to God that we were talking about it, the very first console that came up was Pong.
No, you might want to Google that. You're completely wrong.
All right, let me check. And you are correct. This is exactly what it says. The father of the video game, Ralph Baer Prototypes. When most people think about the first video game, they think of Pong, the ping pong arcade game released by Atari in 1972. However, months earlier, and it doesn't say how many months earlier, Magnavox had released its Magnavox Odyssey, a home video game system based on the brown box, a prototype invented by Ralph Baer. So there you go. I did not know that. Thank you for that little piece of information there, Bobbit. That is... So I stand corrected. So I did not have the very first video game console. So, with that being said, Bobbit, what is the Magnavox Odyssey and what did it entail?
What it was very, very basic for what it was. And, well, I mean, for what it was revolutionary. It was pretty much, you had to put a layout on the television itself, and the layout was pretty much the game. And it was very, very basic for its time, but it was so revolutionary, and it's what helped kickstart the whole video game trend until the video game crash of 1985.
Okay. Alright. Fair enough.
Thanks, Drew.
So, yeah, I'm going to go to that right now, right quick. What the fuck is that hat? What the hell is that?
It's the Cappy hat from Super Mario Odyssey.
Okay. See, I don't know anything about Super Mario Odyssey. So. Thanks, Trexter. I didn't know I had 133 subs. I didn't even look today. But thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Got any liquor?
In the fridge, there's some right there. The bottle you bought. Right there.
Got any other stuff?
Stuff I'm going to drink tonight by myself, yeah.
I mean, the mixer.
The mixer? I don't have Monster.
Welcome to the show, motherfucker.
I have no idea what you're talking. Who are you talking to? Motherfucker behind me? Huh?
Well, he wants to be on the show. Let him
my
be on the
brother
show.
doesn't. He's asking where the liquor was. I said, right down there. Like, get it. He goes, you got any Monster? I'm like, no, I do not. So, he's not doing any shots. More for me. So, back to what we were talking about. So the first game console that I had was Pong. And Pong was fun for me because you just had a little knob and you had 5 settings. I think one was Pong or like tennis, one was squash, the other one was doubles tennis, and I think there was one more and I can't remember what it was, where you just sit there and you set the setting, and I think it's just you and the fucking ball, and you bounce it off the fucking wall. And it's pretty fun.
That's interesting. You've got 2 things in common with Pong. I never realized that.
And what is that, Drew? Why do you keep
Well-
interrupting me when I'm fucking talking?
Your age and a little knob. That's phenomenal.
Oh, Lord.
So anyway, what a dick.
Here's a fun fact
Interrupts
for you
me
guys.
for no reason.
Sorry.
So, that's alright. But I just remember sitting there playing that game, and my brother would never want to fucking play it, so I had to play Pong by my fucking self. And that's where I learned my hand-eye coordination really well. It's not working so well for me on Madden because I can't fucking play defense, but whatever. But it was quite the game. Bob, did you ever play that or have that console?
Play what now?
Pong.
Oh, dude, I played Pong on like my dad has a Atari 2600, and so that's how I played it, and it was I still play to this day on my flashback collection.
Yep. Yeah, Pong was fun for me. I mean, growing up, and then as the technological world revolutionized, and I can't remember when it came out. I think Atari came out first, right? Or did the Intellivision come out first?
I
Which
think
was
it was the
originally
Atari, then the Television.
okay. I didn't have I did not have an Atari. Um, I got an Intellivision for Christmas because they came out like right around the same time. The Intellivision. That was like with the cartridge games when the cartridge games came out. I have like 250 television games, varying from sports to strategy games like Space Battle. There's a game called B-17 Bomber, where you're a B-17 bomber during World War II, and you have to go to you're on these like missions, and it was like 8-bit graphics. You know, it wasn't like today where you have HD graphics. You know, it's not. It's fun. The games were fun. They were enjoyable. You know how some games get boring and silly. Like to me, Call of Duty is boring. I just never got into that game ever. Uh, Fortnite, I have no idea what the fuck that is. Never played it. Um, I know Heather has played those games and Bobbit has played those games. Heather has done some streams with Basement and Cardinal and them guys, and they've done the Call of Duty streams. But I'm more into the sports games than anything. Um, but when I was a kid, I had this game. It's called Shark. And you're like to start out as this little fucking fish, this 8-bit pixeled fish. And you're swimming around in the fucking water and you eat like you had different levels, like 5 levels I think of fish. And you could eat the smaller fish, but you couldn't eat the bigger fish because the bigger fish could eat you. So it was like you're learning about the steps of, you know, the ecosystem and shit. So I'm sitting there playing this game. Me and my brother were playing this game, and we played this game all fucking night. I think we got up to like level 150 on the game. We had like 1,000,000 fucking points. What? Laughed my ass off. Is it JP or me snoring? What the fuck are you talking about, Heather?
When we all passed out on Skype last night.
Oh yeah, we did. We all passed out on Skype last night. We did. Um, you dick. You fucking cunt. You fucking recorded that shit, you fucking asshole. I tried hanging up on your ass too, you little fucking cocksucker. Dickhead.
Who
Sorry.
recorded what? What are you talking about?
It's fine. This morning, I was trying to hang up on you from the call. Like, I woke up in the middle of the night. I couldn't hang up the call last night. The Skype call where we all fell asleep.
It's okay. I'll hold it for a special time. The content will be released when necessary.
Yeah, oh, well, whatever. But,
But I know one of my tits was not hanging out because I was still wearing my sweatshirt when I woke up, so.
yeah. But, I played this game. We got up to like 1,000,000 points. We were tearing some fucking shit up. I mean, we were killing. And what you do to honestly to level up is you keep eating fish, and then you get the shark. Every time you hit the shark, you can't hit it in its front. You got to hit its tail. So you have to go up down on its tail. So it's, you know, because of the controller. It's not like today where you can move anywhere on the thing. You know, it's not a circle thing. It was just like a controller, a normal Nintendo controller, and you just go up, down, left, right. There was no north, south. You know what I mean. And you press a button. You press buttons. It had 2 buttons. I think it had 2 buttons. I'm not sure, but so we were sitting there one night and we got up to like 1,000,000 points, and we were at like level 150, 175, something like that. I mean, we played that game. It was that game was fun. Never was able to complete it again, but it was good. Go on, fucking dog. So yeah, then I got a Nintendo. and I got a few games from that. The Tecmo Bowl, that was a step up. I think that was a 16-bit graphic, right, Bobbit?
Original NES was 8-bit.
Okay, so what was the Intellivision then?
The Intellivision on them was they was 8-bit too, but the NES did it better because they had more recognition.
Okay. I remember going to the arcade too. The arcade, fucking Pac-Man was in every fucking bowling alley, every bar, every, you go in there, there was Pac-Man. We used to play Pac-Man all the fucking time. Space Invaders, Centipede, Zaxxon, Galaga.
Galaga.
There's another game Joust. I remember Joust. Does anybody remember Joust? I love that game. That was a fun game. Rampage. They're making a movie out of that. Mortal Kombat wasn't out yet, but So I had a Nintendo. Played that for a while. Enjoyed that, and then I think the Super Nintendo came out next for me. That's what I got next. And I played that. That's when I started playing the sports games. I wasn't so much into the other games like Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, and all that.
Oh, the fun.
Yeah, well for you, but the fun games for me were the sports games. Yeah. Then I bought the Super Nintendo. Then I bought the PlayStation. I think that came.
Do you want to hear a fun fact?
A fun fact about the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Sure. I never owned a Nintendo 64. It's one thing I never owned. Go ahead.
Well, the original idea for the PlayStation, what it was, the Sega CD was out at the time for the Genesis. Well, a Nintendo was considered doing a CD add-on for the SNES. And so they originally went to Sony for the CD idea. Well, there's an actual working prototype out there of this system. You can look it up. It's actually a real thing. It was called the Nintendo PlayStation. And what it was, at the last minute, nobody knows why, Nintendo said, fuck you to Sony and went to Panasonic. That's why we got the CDI with all those shitty Nintendo games. Well, Sony was like, well, since we have already done this, then why not we get into the video game market, and the CD-based add-on from the SNES became the PlayStation.
Interesting. I did not know that. I did own a Sega Genesis. I will take that back. I did own a Sega Genesis before I bought a PlayStation. Which the graphics were getting better and better and better and better and better. Then the PlayStation came out, and they I think the 32-bit or 16-bit. PlayStation was 16-bit or 32-bit? The Sega Genesis
was 32-bit.
Okay, so Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo were 16-bit.
Yes.
Okay, so then we go on to there. So as you can see, we're getting up to where we are today. Then I did own this Nintendo 64, a Nintendo GameCube, which had the 64-bit.
Another fun fact, if you don't mind.
Sure. Of course, we're just full of fun fucking shit facts today. Go ahead, Bob. You're good. You're good.
Well, the former video game manufacturer Sega, I'll explain why, And we also skipped over a major part about this whole thing too, JP.
Sure.
We skipped over the video game crash in 1985. That's important because what it was, there was too many games coming out in 1985 for the Atari. It oversaturated the market, and what happened was it pretty much crashed the whole video game system. Like, Like they was selling brand new Atari games for $2 at CVS's. That's how bad it got. And Nintendo was the only ones who brought it back from the video game crash. Like
Right.
like the NES helped save the video game market from being nothing.
Right.
And another fun fact for you:
One more.
the Sega Saturn, the third of the Sega consoles, because you remember we had the Master System, the Genesis, and what was known as the Sega Neptune, which became the Sega Saturn.
Yep.
What was so important about the Saturn? It got announced and released the same day at E3 1995. The console failed because Sega didn't give the stores enough time to promote and advertise the console. That's why it failed. That's why we got the Dreamcast in 1999.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna come up to that. I was getting up to the Dreamcast. I got one of those too. What I did with it, I don't remember. I think I got rid of it. Um,
So
let's see,
much
where was I?
potential.
What?
The Dreamcast.
Yeah,
So much
it
potential.
did have so much potential, and they just didn't market it very well. The Dreamcast at all. It just didn't play. The gameplay wasn't very good at all on it.
Okay.
So
We'll get to it.
yeah, well, I'll let you get to what you guys. I'm just going through what I've had. Then I had a Sega Genesis. I had a Nintendo 64. Then I had an Xbox. Then I ended up getting a PS3. And now I have a PS4. So I've taken a step up. It's been a long journey for me. I still love playing video games. In fact, I think I still have some of my old video games. When I had an Xbox, the only game, like first-person shooter game that I played was Operation Desert Storm. It's where you're a squad of soldiers and your job is to, after the game setting is set right after Iraq invaded Kuwait. So you're trying to find Saddam Hussein is what you're doing. The end state is you have Saddam Hussein in your sights, but you don't kill him. You're like special ops or something like that. I can't remember. But it's a fun game. I mean, I had fun playing it. It was pretty cool. But we'll go to Heather. I know she's like sitting there like what game consoles did you have? Just talk about your history of your gameplay.
Well, actually, the first game console I had, there's a funny story behind it. Because my grandparents owned it before I got hold of it. It was the original Atari. And when they had first gotten it, and they, of course, with everything new, there's always bugs. So, they did not realize that playing it for almost 24 hours straight would cause a problem, because shortly after they hit the 24-hour mark, the curtains went on fire. So there was that little issue with it. I still
Nice.
that Atari is back at the house, so we no longer have that one. But then from there, I had the first. No, yeah, I got the Sega Genesis. And then I had the first ever PlayStation, which, with those consoles, I got them for Christmas. My dad played them more than I did. So it was always that fight of, Mom, he's not letting me play. And then from there, I had the PlayStation 2, which only just died on me about a year ago. So then I completely skipped the PlayStation 3 and went with my PlayStation 4. And that's where I am now.
And she plays a lot. She plays WWE 2K18.
Call of Duty, Crash Bandicoot, Kingdom Hearts. And then for my computer, I have World of Warcraft.
Oh, I never got into PC games
Mm.
either. I used to play PC games too. Strategy games. I'm a strategy game guy. I'm not a first person shooter guy. So if you want me to play like Civil War stuff, and it's a strategy game like World of Empire or whatever it is, I'll play that. It's a strategy game. That's fun to me. I'm a strategy kind of person. So yeah, but I never really played. I mean, I played computer games, just not Leisure Suit Larry. Played Leisure Suit Larry when I was growing up. Played, my cousin had a PC, so we played PC games. They were pretty fun.
See, I'm the queen at Centipede and Tempest.
Okay. What about you, Bobbit?
Well, for me, I got exposed to video games through my uncle. He had a Super Nintendo originally, and I played the Adventures of Batman and Robin. And the funny thing is, my parents got me my first ever video game console, which was the Super Nintendo with Killer Instinct. And that's when my passion of and love of video games began. And I started playing. I played games like Donkey Kong Country. Then it was the N64. I used to play Star Wars Episode One Racer all the time. That was my go-to game because I was bullied a lot in school because of my weight, and so video games was my escape from the bullying and the harassment and all that shit. And then as I've gotten up through the ages, then I got the PS1, the PS2, PS3, PS4. I played the Wii U. I pretty much played everything there is to play, and I'm pretty much a video game encyclopedia at this point.
Yes, he is. What's your favorite game?
Favorite game of all time is Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay. What about you, Heather? What's your favorite?
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft?
Mhm.
Oh yeah. You got it. Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna do another stream for that? I know you can't do it right now.
I definitely want to try and do something because with the character that you people helped me build. So,
We'll
it may
get there.
turn into a series. We'll see.
We'll get there. We'll get there. What about you, Drew? I know you
I've
play
got to
video
split.
games.
I've got to split it into old school and something a little newer school. But originally it was Final Fantasy One for probably 15 years, 15 years. It was Final Fantasy One until I played Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Honorable mention to Final Fantasy 8.
Okay, so what is the history of video games with you? I know you don't play them anymore because you've got Ruby now, but what?
Well, that and the road really stalls that too. Being on the road a lot, it's just not worth it carrying a console around and everything. Console, whatever the fuck.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever it is today. No, I've got my first system Christmas of '89. It was the regular Nintendo. And I can remember some of my earliest memories on that was playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Okay,
And
I remember playing that game. I've beaten Tyson.
mhm.
Very difficult to beat.
And pro wrestling. It was just the
Yeah.
common, simple pro wrestling where it was generic characters, generic moves. But I really liked that game. And I got the Super Nintendo. I got the Sega, just like everyone else did growing up through the times. Get the new consoles and that. What was really fun is my father got into it with me. He actually made a Super Mario trophy, and we'd sit down and play Super Mario 1 or Super Mario 3, and whoever got the furthest without losing all their lives had the trophy for the week until the next weekend, kind of, just something a little fun to, amp up our gameplay a little bit, because he didn't play a whole lot with me, but when we did, it was fun. The other one he played with me was Tecmo Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
And
I love that game.
yeah, we would I was always the Cowboys, and he was always the Bears. Sometimes I'd pick an AFC team just so we could meet in the Super Bowl, and we would always be undefeated unless we met each other in the regular season. Then obviously someone had to go 15-1, and
Right.
then we'd inevitably meet in the championship game or the Super Bowl, and it was always a fucking shootout because we were pretty evenly matched. Um, got to about 96, 97. I played a little less. I played more outside, but moved to Kansas City in 98, and I discovered the Nintendo 64 at the time. And one of my favorites on there was Wave Race. I love doing the crazy, funky shit, and I don't think I ever actually owned one. It was my cousin who had it, so I was kind of damned to the games that he had. But Wave Race was my favorite there. I got. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, man. I'm just listening to you talk.
Oh, I thought you were adding something.
No.
Then a couple years later, I got the Dreamcast, and I mentioned that earlier. But that I really, really liked that system. There was a WWF game on there, and I can remember just playing the shit out of it, creating characters like I was losing my mind, you know. And I'm curious if anyone remembers this game, Shenmue.
No. Never.
Shenmue.
I do.
It was a. You do?
Bob it does.
It was a Japanese game. There's actually seven versions or seven sequels, seven parts to the game. Only two have been released in America. The first one was Dreamcast. Second was supposed to come out but never did. And I think it made it to the Xbox original, I believe.
Well, see,
And
here it came out. It came out on Xbox, but it did come out on Dreamcast in Europe.
okay, yeah, that game it took RPG. It took it's kind of a class of its own. You would have had to have played it to know what I'm talking about, but you actually had to live by the clock. Like you woke up at 7 in the morning, you went and worked your job, and in the evening you did your shit to try and accomplish the quest you were doing, which was avenging your father's death, who was a taekwondo master or some sort of a jiu-jitsu master or whatever that was killed by some bigger power. And I don't want to turn this into the Shenmue show, but it was just really, really neat. You only had your evenings to really accomplish shit, but the whole point to working was to fund yourself to get to Hong Kong to find this motherfucker. It was just a really neat game, and you could ditch work, but you'd lose out on money because certain businesses were only open certain times to where you could talk to the people you needed to, so on and so forth. After that, I got an original Xbox, and I played that until I pretty much stopped playing. Had a Wii for a little bit, and that's where I found Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I played all of them back to Grand Theft Auto 3, but San Andreas, obviously they got better as time went, and San Andreas was one I'd love to go back to right now and play. And then some of the Final Fantasies I love to go back to. I've got Steam on my computer, and I've got like 5 different Final Fantasies on there just waiting for me at any point in time.
Steam is
That's-
so dangerous. My God.
What's dangerous?
Steam.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so easy to click on something that's $30 and go, fucking whatever. And next thing you know, you're like, oh, yeah, I've got a mortgage to pay. Fuck.
But yeah.
But I guess after that, really, I mean, Tara and I met and moved in together in 2009, 2010 is when we moved in together, and you know, life just kind of happened. I played a lot of cell phone games since then, but that's about the extent of it. Watched a lot of movies and TV shows since then.
Okay.
Pretty much it. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, nobody was expecting you to change it. But, so, yeah, I mean, now as far as games go, for me now, I just played Madden, NHL, and MLB The Show on PS. Because Xbox does not make baseball games anymore. Baseball is my favorite sport. followed by hockey, then football. Even though I know football back and forth, I mean I coached it. Um, but yeah, just give us a second, Broken Matthew. We'll add you here in a minute. Um, but yeah, so I mean I play a lot of sports games, not so much the Call of Duty or the World of Warcraft, but I've been told that I'm gonna have to learn how to play it, which okay.
You said you wanted to, and I said
Oh
I
no,
would
I did. She said she'd teach me how to play. She would help me build my character, and it'll be fun. It'll just be me and her alone time when she gets here. It'll be fun. I've got a girlfriend that loves video games. That's why I love her. And wrestling. I've never had a significant other that's been as into. Now keep in mind she doesn't pay attention to the sports games like I do. She's more into the Call of Duties and the Fortnites and stuff like that. So I'll let her talk about that. I'll let her and Bobbit talk about that. My favorite sports game. I mean, Madden sucks right now because you can't fucking play defense. Who can't play fucking defense in real life? Oh, I know, the Green Bay Packers. But the fucking, it's just one of those things. Madden's fun, but it does not, and it's realistic too, but it does not allow you to play defense. I love playing hockey on the PS4. Hockey's fun, isn't it, Bobbit? Hockey is fucking fun. Baseball.
Blades of Steel.
I remember playing that game. Yep.
First time you could fight in a game. Well, I mean ice hockey, but that game was, those fights were bullshit.
Yeah.
Blades of Steel, you actually dropped the gloves and had a health meter.
Yep. But the baseball, love MLB The Show. The realism in the game is beyond belief. So yeah, I mean those are the games that I played. The very first sports game that I played was probably Tecmo Super Bowl. No, I take that back. It was on the Intellivision. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. Hockey, they had hockey too. So yeah, those are the fun games for me. I know that I'm gonna ask the question, and these fucking Bobbit and Heather are just gonna bounce back and forth. I'm just gonna let them talk. But I know that you two play the games that I don't. I shouldn't say that I don't like. I enjoy watching them, but I cannot play them myself. They look like fun. I just can't figure the fucking shit out. I can't do first-person shooter because it causes headaches for me, most because of all the jumping around and shit. But what do you guys think of the games today versus the games of yesteryear when it comes to those kinds of games like Call of Duty and Fortnite and BioShock and all that shit?
Well, other than the obvious thing of the graphics, the story has definitely got a lot better now than it was back then. I mean, when you had games that were based like Duke Nukem, to give you a perfect example, there, it's just this guy who, in the almost post-apocalyptic world, trying to kill everything in sight. But now there's a story behind it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't play them, so you guys are going to have to carry this conversation because I don't play them. I mean, the only thing that I can tell you is Call of Duty is unrealistic to me because I served in the military for 23 years. That shit really don't happen. It doesn't take 15 fucking 100 fucking bullets to kill you. It really don't. It takes one. I get it. It's a game and it's built that way. That's, but still, I just can't get into that kind of game play. That's just me.
Well, it really wasn't meant to be based off of actual warfare because you got so many different levels of armor that you could wear within the game itself that it happens.
Yeah. What about you, Bobbit?
What I like about nowadays, I mean, obviously graphics and like Heather said, the story, but just the way that it immerses you. Like, there's a lot I hate about new gaming. Like, I hate to death, but the stuff it does right, it does extremely well. There's a lot of drawbacks to gaming nowadays.
What is CNC?
Command and Conquer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I had fun playing my sports games. Heather knows that quite extensively. Um, she doesn't she plays mostly WWE. What do you think of that game? What do you think of 2K18 today?
It's such a pain in the ass.
Did they change anything about the game to make it better besides the graphics? We all know the graphics are fucking amazing on it. Have they done any enhancements on that game to make it worth the buy from 2K17?
I think they actually made it worse because now you can't do a reversal as easily as you used to. You gotta be exactly on point with that before you even get the reversal. But yet the computer can reverse you like that. It's just like, are you
Yeah, I know. They
kidding
said
me?
they were going to do away with those, didn't they? And then they didn't.
Me, I like 2K18. I love it. You know why I love it, JP?
Go ahead, tell me why.
Captain Phantom.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Really? You couldn't see through that one?
Speaking of that, we're probably going to do Bobbit Mania next weekend. So, just throwing that out there. We're probably going to do that next weekend. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'll play 2K17, but I haven't really gotten into it. I'd much rather watch it than play it. I don't know. Because if I was to do do like a universe mode, like basement or kayfabe or even Heather, I mean, she could probably run or Bobbit, for that matter. I would just sit and watch it, and I would just stream it for you guys like they do. Because I don't know if they play the games. You just put them both on computer and let them go. Correct? I don't know. I mean,
You could sit there and just simulate the matches and let the computer decide.
yes, which is way more random.
It's way more random and it can make it more entertaining because that's when the glitches tend to start.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like the one night we were watching the fucking chamber match where Roman Reigns was Roger. Got it.
I got a fun fact if you want to hear it.
Sure. Bobbit, why don't you can talk. You don't have to. The show is for you guys. All I know is sports games, and that's it. You guys, the rest of the show is about you guys. I'm just gonna sit here and listen, and I'll try and keep the conversation going the best I can.
Um, Apple was Apple actually made a video game console called the Apple Pico, but it was a failure because there was no games on it, and plus it costed way too much.
Oh. Well, I never talked about my favorite games, did I?
No, you didn't.
You know what my favorite game to play was not Shark Shark, even though I fucking loved playing that game. You know what it was? Kool-Aid Man on the Intellivision. You're Kool-Aid Man, and you're in a haunted house, and you fucking go around fucking doing this shit. It's fun, man. Like you break through fucking walls and dude comes out and goes, "Hey, Kool-Aid!" It's fucking fun. I had fun playing the game. It was enjoyable.
Now, you see, if you had mentioned a haunted game, I would have expected to hear Luigi's Haunted Mansion, but
No, you're Kool-Aid man. You're in a haunted house and you get these haunted fruit and shit. It's a fun game.
Remember
Luigi's
Maniac
Mansion is
Mansion?
amazing.
Never played it.
On the regular Nintendo, Maniac Mansion.
Nope.
Yeah,
Never played it.
that was a different, interesting kind of game. You'd have to play it. I can't try and explain it right now. It'd take too long.
Yeah. Yeah, I played the Mario Brothers. My brother cleared it in like a day. I was never really into those games. Like I said, I started playing sports games, so I was more about Tecmo Bowl and all that shit. So that's what I played. But yeah, Kool-Aid Man is my favorite game of all time. Yeah. I had a game on the Intellivision called The Sea Battle. I should go and talk to my uncle and see if I can get that from him and see if it still fucking works. Because I think I can plug it. I think I can still use it, plug it into the system on my TV. I don't know. I'd have to see. But those were fun games.
Another fun fact. Well, not really a fun fact, but the reason why the Dreamcast only lasted a year was because consumer confidence in Sega was an all-time low because of the 32X, the Sega CD, and of course the Saturn, and also the PS2 killed it.
yep.
All right. So that being said, I know that Broken Matthew asked to be called. He wants to join the call, and that's fine. I told him he could.
Alright, I'll add him.
Okay. So if you're still there, Broken Matthew, we're gonna add you to the call. But when you come on here, please don't yell. Just nice, easy talk, man. But yeah, so I mean, I play the Intellivision. I should go and talk to my uncle. He just lives up the street from me and see if I can get the games from him. See if it works. I'd love to play those games again. Just one time, you know. It'd be good times.
See if my Sega still worked. I still have all the games for it that I had.
Yeah.
But at last, I played that thing to the ground. Once I wrestled it away from my father, that is.
Yeah. Right?
See, he loves playing Taz on that. Meanwhile, I was like, just let me play my Sonic and leave me the fuck alone.
Yep.
That's a good question, Rain. What's the best systems in our opinions?
Hey, Drew, see if you can add him, because it didn't go through.
I got it. Yeah, there's two different Broken Matthews. If you hit the wrong
No,
one, it fixes it.
one.
I'll get it.
Okay, I'm gonna answer this first if you don't mind. The best console, in my opinion, PS3.
Really? What about the PS4? You don't like the PS4?
Like I said, modern gaming just has turned me off completely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What's up, man? How's it going, man?
Nothing much, doing pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the car and I got the notification for your gaming stream. I was like, yes, I have to call in on this stream.
Oh yeah, we're not streaming games. We're just talking about video games.
Yeah, no, that was the point.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, I love talking about video games.
Yeah. When Heather gets here, I'm pretty sure I'll stream something. I'll stream me raging at fucking Madden or something. But what about you, man? I mean, you're what, 16, 15, 17?
Yeah. Oh, you want my gaming history?
Yeah. I mean, I'm
So,
pretty sure it's pretty limited. So you've had a PS3 and a fucking PS4.
I don't know.
I get it.
Correct.
Go ahead, man. You're good. You're
My
good. Go ahead.
first console was a Nintendo 64. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, my dad came home with an N64 and a box full of games, and I grabbed out what is still my favorite game of all time. Shut up, Brendan. um, Brendan, shut up. Well, I grabbed a game that had a guy with a sword and a shield, which turned out to be The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, and that's still my favorite game to this day.
Okay.
So yeah, so I have an affinity towards Zelda games now, and Nintendo. That's my favorite company.
Yep. Oh, that's cool. I only owned a Nintendo 64, a Super Nintendo, and the original Nintendo. Other than that, I don't have a Wii. Never had a Wii. I played Wii before. I played tennis with a friend of mine. She kicked my ass all the fucking time because I'm like sitting there trying to hit the racket and I'm doing this shit. If you can see me, I'm sitting there doing this shit with the fucking controller. I was sitting there doing this. Why can't I do it? You're supposed to. It's a motion thing. I'm like, it's just funny. You play with your wiener, Bobbit? You fucking weirdo.
We all know that's your favorite.
So if you were to pick your favorite game out of today's games, what game would that be?
That's not nice, Brendan.
Are you gonna answer my question and not worry about what Brendan's saying?
My favorite game out of modern games right now is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
That's a modern game, like a PlayStation 4 game, or
Nintendo Switch game.
Okay.
I put 260 hours into that game. It's like
Okay.
Matthew, how much have you played of like the old school shit, like before your time shit?
a decent amount. I've played like Sega on an emulator. I played Mario Bros. I played all the old Zelda games.
Do you have a favorite out of those? For someone who's used to the graphics and the gameplay of today, I'm curious, what would be your favorite of like the 80s and 90s shit?
Well, my favorite game of all time is a 90s game, so Majora's Mask is my favorite game of all time. But besides that,
yeah. So I was just saying, yeah. Technically, yeah. I guess you're catching the tail end of the '90s, but I was kind of thinking like shit that you never got to play as you grew up that you turned around and went back to.
This is a really good question. I don't. Hold on. Like you're talking about like SNES, NES era.
Oh, way before that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm thinking like mid '90s or before. The stuff that you would have never played growing up that you turn around and went back in time to.
I really enjoyed the first Sonic game. I thought that was really fun. Link to the Past, the Zelda game, Mario World was really good.
It's funny you mentioned A Link to the Past. A fun fact here to throw one out on top of Bobbit. Cody Rhodes goes back and plays that game once a year. Every year.
I go back and play Majora's Mask every year.
JP, it's a Link to the Past. If you remember, he would wear Triforces on his boots, and that was to signify his love for Zelda.
That's why Cody Rhodes.
I've never played Zelda, so I don't know what the fuck.
That's why Cody Rhodes is one of my favorite wrestlers right now because he's a huge Zelda fan. I love that about him because it's pretty cool.
I've known that about him for years.
Yeah,
I think you broke up on that, Heather. Can you say that again?
I've known that about him for years.
Oh my god, I mean, yeah. So, what else is there to talk about with video games? games. We do
Well, I'll
have
tell you, if you
story
want to
time, but I
mention
don't know what
sports games
story I
again,
can tell.
I could. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was actually against Madden up until ESPN NFL 5 was the last game, and Madden bought them out and monopolized the market. But I was a 2K fan, especially 2K5, where you get to create your own soundtracks and everything. It just really amped up the game for me. But I love the gameplay. And I guess that just shows how out of date I am compared to modern games. But
Right.
I still just wish there was a 2K game.
Yeah. For football? For football, Drew? He left. If he's talking about football, there was. It was called Game Day. They turned it into 2K. Which I don't think they ever got. They were going to turn it into 2K and they never did. So. See, you're talking
I'd
about
heard
football,
something
right,
about
Drew?
that.
You're-
Yeah, specifically football there.
Well, Game Day essentially did or was 2K for NFL Game Day. Essentially was 2K. 2K made that game, so it essentially became 2K after 2000.
Okay.
Because it used to be called Game Day 98, 99. And then they came out with Game Day, and then I think they changed it to NFL 2K or whatever, Game Day 2K or something like that. And then the college football came out with a game called NCAA Football 2000 or 2K. So yeah, that's where the 2K games came from.
Right on.
No,
Oh, go ahead.
2K Sports is a company name. They made video games. They made sports games. I think they did other stuff too, but their major market was the sports games, and then they ended up going away from it. Like NBA 2K12, made by 2K Sports. MLB 2K 10, 8, 9, 7.
Well, hell, the
Made by
WWE
2K
games.
Sports. They're made by 2K. But the 2K is they need to go away. They suck.
They
They're
do.
terrible at their gameplay.
Well, I can speak to the 2000s, and they were good at one point, in my opinion.
At one point, and then they took a shit. They got lazy. With their programming.
They got
Just
really
like any
lazy.
That's why you see all the glitches in WWE 2K. It's because they're just fucking lazy. They just want to throw you something. Oh, you got good graphics this year, so deal with it.
Just like any business, you got to evolve with the times, or you'll fucking sink.
Well, that's why they're sinking. People hate the fucking game because it sucks. Because there's so many glitches, and they aren't giving you anything to keep you invested in the game. And then the career mode, which is basically why they made the game in the first place, at least that's the way I would market it. It's hard to fucking finish the game, and it's stupid the way it ends. And they say the same thing over and over and over again. It's a boring game. So, yeah, 2K needs to stop making WWE games.
Well, they also need to sit there and be a little more lenient and actually let you create a female character for the fucking career mode, not just a male character. Just
That
saying.
is true. That is true.
We need to go protest Connecticut.
I would have thought that they would have done that. Maybe they'll do it for 2K19. But
Drew,
who knows?
I won't have to protest. I'll just go kick in the front door and scream in Fuckface's face.
I want fuckface, and I want him now. Get him to waddle his stick in his ass, walk down here.
Right. So yeah, I mean, the sports games are Now, if I remember correct, a lot of the sports games, that's how they marketed these consoles, like PlayStation. When they first started doing this, they had they were marketing the sports games. They were still marketing the Mario Brothers. They were still marketing the Call of Duty, not the Call of Duties, but the other games. Um, but yeah, so so, but that's how the consoles, in my opinion, the way I looked at it, they were more into the sports marketing thing because a lot of people were asking for it. Now they're back into the Call of Duty and the, what is it, Fortnite. What's the most popular game to play right now?
I think it's PUBG.
What the fuck is PUBG? What the fuck is that game? I don't understand it.
Joe's got about 100 hours of content if you want that answered.
I really don't want to sit and watch it because it doesn't look any fun. It doesn't look like it's a fun game to play. It looks stupid.
Basically, they drop you on this island and you kill each other. Pretty much it.
There's no story behind the game
Nope.
or anything. That's stupid. If you're gonna sell me something, you gotta sell me something to where I want to play the game where there's a story behind it, like Call of Duty. Like if I could play the first person shooter games, I would play Call of Duty because I like the story modes. The story modes are fun to me. That's why they make these games. They don't make these games to run around and shoot fucking zombies. Well, they do now, but they might as well just make a fucking game so you can run around and shoot zombies and not have a fucking story mode.
That's
Because that's all people do anymore.
They,
It's stupid. It don't make any sense. Go ahead.
they do have that in Call of Duty. It's called the Nazi Zombies. And there's still a story
Yeah,
with
it's-
that.
Oh, is there?
Yes.
Well, see, then that'd be fun to play, but I didn't know there was a story mode. See, when I first seen it, I'm sitting there watching my friends play. I'm like, you're just running around shooting zombies. Is there like a story mode for this or no? No, nope. You just run around shooting zombies. I don't get it. It don't make any sense.
Super Nintendo had Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That was well, it wasn't much of a shooter. It was more of a aerial view where you can like hold the button down and just keep shooting. But
Oh,
they did have a zombie game back then, and I played that quite a bit actually. As sad as it was.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm not ripping on PUBG. I just don't understand the if it doesn't have a story mode, why even play the game? Because that's why the smart people get those games, is to play the story mode. There's something behind the game, that the reason that this game came out, and I'm sure that Call of Duty is a prime example. I remember Call of Duty, it was World War II. It was based on a character that went on to Normandy, stormed the beaches of Normandy, and then they went from there. So that's Call of Duty that I remember, and then they turned in and they did the Black Ops where you got these machine guns that don't even really fucking exist, that you'll never ever fucking see. So, because they're all British weapons, they aren't our weapons. So, other than that, guys, I mean, I'm gamed out. I mean, I'm not gamed out. That's all I know about video games. Bobbit, you're the fucking encyclopedia, dude. Give it to me.
Okay. Got a few little fun facts here. There was a console that was supposed to come out called the EM2. And the reason why anybody knows it exists was because it was in a few video game magazines. And there was a actual game being developed for it called D2. Well, Of course, as we all know now, it got canceled, and D2 went on to the Dreamcast. Another fun fact: the original Xbox was was based off of the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Interesting. I did not know that.
Even the
Did not know that.
controller based off the Dreamcast. Taylor, do you want to say anything?
What about the virtual reality shit that's coming out now? Do
Shit's
they
a
not
failure.
remember what they had back in the day that they tried and just completely failed?
Yeah, it was a red and black eyesore.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it caused blindness in at least one person.
Oh yeah, had to have.
Huh. The fuck? There it is. Sorry, guys. Just keep talking. Fuck something up.
Yeah, I see that. Holy shit. Uh,
But don't worry,
All right.
we've got VR porn now, so
yeah,
Oh
I've
shit.
seen.
Why did you have to bring that up? What the fuck is wrong with you? Anyway. So yeah. What about you, Drew? Anything?
Anything at all?
Well, as far as games go.
Oh man, I had so much dumb. Um, I could go back to the sports thing a little bit. I had on my mind that baseball. After RBI 3, I had Big Hurt for a little bit, and I could kind of keep up with that. But those games got so fucking complex that
Mm-hmm.
I need it to be a fucking simpleton baseball game. I've tried to play and I guess it doesn't hurt that or doesn't help that I've been facing my buddies, but I just get fucking stomped into the ground. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm better at pitching than I am batting on those games for sure.
yeah. When I played, um, when I play my games, I normally and I don't like playing other people, just because I just don't. It bores me. I get bored with it
Do you get bored
playing other
watching
people.
baseball?
No,
Okay.
but when I baseball is probably a different story for me because I'll still get my ass beat, but it's still a fun game to play. Um, yeah, it's I don't know. I just like football. I couldn't play against anybody. I'd break something.
Did you ever play?
I'd break my game because I hate fucking people that cheat. And I'm not saying that anybody that I would play against cheats. There's ways to cheat. I don't. I mean, you can put cheat codes and shit in. I never did any of that shit. It
Oh,
makes the game no fun.
I was actually about to mention something. Did you ever play Stanley Cup on Super Nintendo?
Oh,
No, I
God.
did not.
That game, it had a dump puck option. You know how you dump the puck and just shoot it down the ice to get it the fuck out of whatever situation you're in.
Yeah.
Um, if you were heading for the opponent's goal, about 2 strides before the blue line, you dump the puck, it would go over the goalie's shoulder and in the net. And after I discovered that, I could win games 20-0. It was fucking sad. And I didn't like to play that way, but if I was facing a buddy, I'd do it just to fuck with them. Or if I was just
Right.
wanting to see how high I could get my score. But, if I was doing the season mode or shit, I'd take it seriously.
Right.
But it was funny to discover that. And I told you in NFL 2K5, you could run bootlegs, the passing play version of a bootleg, and
Yeah.
take your quarterback up the sideline for 20 yards. As long as they didn't blitz,
Oh.
guaranteed 20 yards every time. My fucking
Right.
quarterback was won the rushing title every year.
Right. Glitch in the game is what it is.
Yeah, the creators just didn't catch It was. I mean, yeah, it was. It wasn't necessarily a glitch so much as it was an oversight of the AI, is what it
Yes.
was.
Yeah. Well, that's a glitch.
That's a glitch.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess
It's a
so. But
glitch.
when you're playing Halo, and you can shove a wall and find your way on the roof to where you can snipe unnoticed, that's a glitch. That has nothing to do with the AI, and that's what I view as a glitch.
True.
But maybe that's my old skill mentality.
Whenever the AI does not catch on to what you are doing, it's a glitch. It's a
Yeah,
glitch.
yeah, fair enough.
It is.
No, you're fine. My
No, I know.
definition could be slightly different than yours, and that's cool. I'm not going to argue it.
No. You know what? 2K does not need to make any more sports games. In fact, they need to stop making games, period, because they just are terrible. What the hell you eat?
Um, can can someone help me out with what Chad said? I am not comprehending that.
Okay. What? Say it again. I got kids yelling in my ear.
What Chad said in the paragraph, I'm not comprehending that. Can someone help me out with
So
that?
he met a plate glass window and some knuckles. I ended up covered in blood with a ruined American. Out! If you guys are gonna be loud, get out!
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm looking at his. Oh, okay,
Fucking
no,
damn
he's. Sorry, it's a side conversation. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't. I
No, it's
lost
all
track of the chat. Go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm about to flip my shit. But yeah, so I mean, whenever a glitch happens, a glitch happens. It's just an oversight, I guess. I don't know. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to ask? Like what was an Intellivision like to play? In fact, the Intellivision was actually pretty good. That's why I wanted to become a computer programmer for a while, because you could actually, it gave you a book and you had a little computer like a keyboard. You could type in a program, a character to fucking do cartwheels and shit across the screen, and there's even you could even create a game, like tic tac toe. It was pretty cool. It's pretty fun.
I've got a question for you, JP.
Sure.
Did you ever have a ColecoVision?
Yes. That's what Saxon came on. A Coleco. It was a Coleco game. And I had a keyboard with it and all this shit. Yep. Are you questioning my authority? Thank you. Alright. Yeah, I don't play basketball games, man. You didn't make an enemy out of me. I said it. 2K has made some awful wrestling games. And no, I don't want 2K to make any more football games either, because they probably fucked that up too. But other than that, I mean, that's pretty much all I got tonight. I mean, unless Bobbitt's got more stuff that he wants to talk about.
Well, Bobby, can you talk old school shooters? Like, when I say old school, SOCOM, Halo. I mean, we go far as back as Wolf 3D or Duke Nukem.
I've played SOCOM.
Well,
go ahead.
The granddaddy of all first-person shooters was the first Wolfenstein.
Yep, that was the one that born it all.
Yep.
GoldenEye, I think, is what brought it into the mainstream. Like, everyone fucked around with Wolfenstein 3D on their mostly on their computers.
It was Doom.
Yeah, I mean, it brought it more to the forefront, but at least maybe it was just my group of friends. But when GoldenEye came out, it was fucking on, and we didn't look back. We went from there to SOCOM to Halo. And my friends continued on with Call of Duty and that after I kind of backed out of gaming. But I could talk SOCOM and Halo fucking all night. We could do another hour and a half on just those two fucking games and my experiences. But
I mean, Go ahead.
No, I was gonna
I'm
say,
just here now.
obviously the current games are better when it comes to graphics, gameplay, the internet connection, and shit like that. But
Mom, get off the phone!
I'm sorry.
Mom, get off the phone!
Oh yeah, yeah. What we did, we did a lot of LAN parties, and we would actually get 4 Xboxes and 16 people every fucking Sunday night, and we didn't have to worry about internet connection as long as those motherfuckers were plugged in. It was in sync and ready to go, and it was phenomenal. We didn't have to worry so much about connections. So for me, Halo 3 was the best shooter game I've ever played. And I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of eye rolls because people have played longer than I have into those games. But as far as my experiences go, so the reason I say this is Bobbit and Heather, I can throw this to you too, because you guys both have expansive knowledge in past and present shooters. But with the graphics and internet connection aside, if you could go to a desert island with one game past or present, shooter game, what would it be?
You want to go first, Heather?
I'm gonna need a minute to think about that. You go ahead first, Bobbit.
Alright. Far Cry 3.
I always have to nod my head at that because I know that's past my time. I played a little bit of Call of Duty, so I can relate a little bit to that, but that's about my last 10 years worth of knowledge. And like Halo 27 or whatever came out a few years ago.
As far as shooter games, I think I'm gonna have to go all the way back to Duke Nukem.
Wow, even though
Yeah.
you don't have any internet or anything, you're just fucking waylaying on your own.
Exactly. I mean, that's what made it so good.
Does the internet piss you
they're gonna
off?
try and bring Duke Nukem into the future and have it be an online playing, and it's just gonna ruin the experience. And especially now that they're gonna be making a movie.
I have a fun fact for y'all.
Okay.
The the biggest flop in video game history, ironically, was a Nokia N-Gage.
I have
Because
no clue what that is.
what it was a cell phone that they released in two versions. There was an ad-free version for $300. And this was back in 2002, 2003. And there was one without ads that was $600. And ironically, the launch games for the N-Gage was its final games. That's how bad it sold. It didn't help that the phone looked like a fucking taco.
That's
Oh,
shot.
there's a shot.
Did you
He
not hear
said
what
a
Bobbit
certain
just said?
Mexican food.
Oh, I was not paying attention. Sorry.
You don't have to take a shot. Fuck JP.
Okay.
I haven't even eaten yet, but I will do a shot later.
You better eat
Hey.
tonight.
I'm going. That's what I said. I haven't even
I
touched
have
the
my
drop.
food right over there waiting.
Yeah, I haven't touched the drop. That's why I said we got like 2 minutes left. I just wanna, you know.
We
I
can
know
circle
that-
back around and wrap it up. That's cool.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just gonna say we can talk more about this. Because I'm pretty sure we're gonna run out of topics to talk about. I mean, I threw this at Heather. I didn't throw it at her, but I threw this idea at Heather last night. That's a shot, Rain. So I threw this idea at Heather. Video games. Why not? Fuck it. We did it. That's what we're going to talk about. Next Saturday, we are going to do Bobbit Mania. We've got 3 of the 4 matches done now. As far as what's going on is it's me versus Captain Fanta. for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Yes. The Bobbit Mania title, the Bobbit WWE title, or whatever you want to call it. And then you've got Heather versus Asuka. Heather versus I don't know who else. The other person. She's got to defend her 2 titles. We're going to have an all soft drink battle royal, correct, Bobbit?
Yep.
How many? how many? I'm serious. He found all the fucking soft drinks. He's gonna do an all soft drink battle royal.
Captain Tab.
Captain Mountain Dew, Captain Monster. I mean, they're all there. Then we're gonna have. I'm pretty sure if there's a stipulation, if I win my title back, and then I've got to defend my title against Drew. If I'm correct on this, Bobbit, if I win both titles, the main event will be me and Drew for the new unified title. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. So be looking for, and you know I'm gonna beat Captain Fanta because he's a cunt. So
He's donated more to the stream than. Never mind. I saw his name go across.
yeah. So we're gonna have fun with that. We're gonna have a couple more matches. We're not just gonna have those matches. We'll add a couple more matches. We need a tag team match. We need a tag team title match yet. We can go from there. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna end it here. We can talk more about video games some other time.
I definitely feel a part 2 coming. I really do.
We could talk about this. We could talk more about this. Be a little bit more in depth. I could talk about some television games, of course.
Well, we could even get topical. 90s or shooters or sports. I mean, you could topic it out however you want and go forever with it.
I'm gonna topic you out in about 30 seconds, dude.
All right, I'm shutting up.
So that being said, I'm gonna end it here. You can follow Bobbit where?
On Twitter at Foulmouth Mike, and on YouTube, Foulmouth Bobbit.
Of course, and he has a Swamp Ass podcast. Andrew, where can we follow you at?
Gatekeeper5150 on Twitter, and I promise I'll shut the fuck up.
And I want to thank Broken Matthew for calling in. You can follow him at #Broken Matthew. He does podcasting and stuff like that. And I don't know, is his Twitter at #Broken Matthew too, or is it just Broken Matthew at Broken Matthew? I don't know. But you can follow him there. Where can they follow you, Heather?
There's a couple different places. On Twitter, there is.
You can follow her to Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's that.
Just kidding.
Had to interrupt me for that.
Yeah, I did. I love you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you done?
Yes.
On Twitter, you can follow me at Goonie20 or The Tattooed Masses. And on here, you have The Tattooed Mistress or The Tattooed Masses. So definitely go check them out, and hopefully I can get something stable going very soon so that I can get my shows back to you and back to the world again. So with that, I say I do.
You can follow me at JPBaker91. You can follow me also on YouTube. www.youtube.com/c/JPBaker91. And that is how we do it here. I want to thank everybody for being here. It was fun. Y'all have a great night. Play. Fucker. Play.
How do I end this?